Hey dragons, it's Stephanie from Ravens and Blots, and today I'm going to be talking about a teensy tiny little controversial problem that we all seem to have. Not my original idea. I got this from Kirsten of Kirsten Reads. I'm going to link her original video down below because she was way more eloquent about it than I probably am going to be. But basically her premise is that we of BookTube and of Bookstagram buy a lot of books. Obviously, we buy a lot of books. We're booktubers and bookstagrammers, and we buy a lot of books. And so, watching that video, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, well, we do buy a lot of books. And her premise was, you know, we have all these book hauls, but we don't actually, on our wrap-ups, have that many wrapped up. We hardly read any of the ones that we've book hauled, and then years down the road we'll find these books and be like, oh, I don't even remember that book. Interesting. And I can say this because that's me. I am a book addict and I like to have all the books. Now for me, a lot of people are like, oh well, let's get your TBR down to like 0, and that's just not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. No matter how many book buying bans I go on, I don't like having my TBR at 0. Because to me, a to be read means I must have variety. Now, what I mean by variety, I'm sorry, my roommates are being really loud. What I mean by variety is that I like to have different genres and different outtakes on there in my TBR jar, because I'm a mood reader and I like to read pretty much anything. And so I will have some historical fiction, I'll have some fantasy, I'll have some sci-fi, I might have some murder mysteries on there. And so I like having that kind of wide spectrum of everything that I haven't read yet. However, when I have too many books on my TBR, which is what is happening right now, my brain kind of sparks and I kind of like freak out and I get really stressed of how many books I have on my TBR shelf. And what will happen, I can tell you this because this is what happens every single time I go to Barnes & Noble, or I go to Amazon or Book Depository or Book Outlet, and I buy new books because that makes me feel happy and not stressed. And then I bring them home and I put them on my TBR shelf, and it just keeps replaying because then I get more stressed because I've just added more books to my TBR, which I shouldn't have. Oops. So after that video, I kind of really took stock, and of course that didn't help that I watched that video like right after I did my book haul, and I was like, oh, look at that book haul that I did, and oh, hood of shame. Yeah, that was me, okay? But seriously, I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't know about half those books that I bought. I just bought them because they're books and I need them all apparently. So basically I was really thinking about it, and like she said, you know, maybe you can buy like maybe one book in January if it's like something you really want or something you're going to be buddy reading. And if you have like subscriptions, you can keep those, but you're not to buy any books. Like if you get a gift, that's fine, but nothing else. And I was like, I can totally do that. And then I remembered I'm reading Passenger with a friend, and it doesn't come out until like the first week of January. So I was like, okay, besides Passenger, I can do it. And so I was like, okay, I will do that. So that's actually my plan, is to do a book buying ban for the month of January, which sounds scary, but at the same time, I really do want to get my TBR down. I have 86 books on my TBR, guys. And I know for some people that's like, oh, that's not too much. You know, let's listen to Kat from Kitty-tastic or Sasha from A Book Utopia has. And I'm like, yeah, but for me, that's a lot. That's more than my usual 30 that I have. And I just freak out how many I have. So this year, I'm going to be taking down my TBR. I'm going to try to read as many books as possible this year. Meaning I probably am going to try to break my whole record. It'll be fun. I'll be excited. But I really am going to do that. And then I think starting February, I'm going to do the read 5 by 1 again, but I'm going to be really strict this time instead of just being like, it's okay. La la la, happy flowers. So, what are your guys' thoughts on book buying bans? Do you do book buying bans? Do they succeed? Are you happy with them? Because somehow I don't think I'd be very happy with book buying bans. I know I'm not going to be. But I also want to get my TBR down. So that way, this whole shelf, that is 5 shelves, can be all read books. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be so cool. They'd look so pretty. All done nicely there. So we're hoping that will work. It probably won't get all of them done, but I could get a lot of them done. Anyway, guys, I hope you have an amazing night, and oh my goodness, it's almost the end of December, which means wrap-up video, Christmas present unwrapping, and my year wrap-up video, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be talking about the 20 top books, in my opinion, of the year 2015. I'm also going to be talking about the 3 best series that I started and finished this year. And then don't forget, I'm also going to be having a Q&A video in January, probably around the second week of January. So if you have any questions for me, make sure to either follow my Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, some sort of social media outlet, or leave me a comment down below. Ask me anything you want. Pretty much anything's open except for, you know, like weird stuff. Like, yeah, like weird stuff. But if you want to know like what house I'm in or what my favorite drink is or anything like that, please drop it down below. Anyway, guys, I hope you have an amazing night, and keep reading, you awesome dragons, you. Bye!